What has this pandemic revealed to you about values in society?
Yeah, I think it's kind of confirmed, at least for me, that there's values even exist in the first place. I think just seeing, like, if you take, for example, there's been a strong desire to show gratitude to people on the front lines of this pandemic, whether it be people working in hospitals, people working in other essential work, like in the grocery store. And you see all these wonderful kind of acts of kindness to try and repay the incredible acts of kindness that those people are doing for broader society. I think that reveals that there are these values that we feel, and it's not just everyone's feeling really individualistic, whether that be the desire to express gratitude for a tremendous service someone's doing for the broader society, and
Hmm.
then even showing that there's this kind of sense of interconnectedness, whether it be across the country or even just across the entire world right now, as everyone's going through this shared, really difficult experience. So I think the number one thing it confirmed for me is just some of those values do exist and are kind of inherent. I think it's
Got it.
shown the importance of trust throughout this process.
I was gonna say, would you mind expanding a little bit on what you mean by interconnectedness?
Yeah, so I think it's really challenged this kind of view of I just need to consider how my actions affect myself. And really, we're seeing a prime demonstration of no, your actions have direct effects on other people that you need to be mindful of. And whether you want to go for an ethical framework kind of based on the golden rule of I should treat others as I want to be treated, or just this kind of idea that we're a community and there are certain values that we should have as that community, like, for example, protecting the vulnerable. And thus, I should take actions that will further to protect them, even at a potential cost to myself. I think it's demonstrated that. And because just taking for a fact with something like a pandemic that can spread, is the actions I take in going to the grocery store, depending on how people travel and that kind of connection, could have an immediate effect in for someone who's a couple hours away, and starting to really understand that.
Got it. Great. Thank you for that. Um, Question number two: what has the pandemic revealed to your own values?
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's really for just kind of getting through this type of period made me realize the importance of not only feeling gratitude, but really expressing gratitude to other people during this time, and also the importance of social connection during this time when a lot of us are feeling a lot more stress and a lot more physical distance about trying to kind of bridge that and how important that is. And it's also just really taught me the importance of being able to trust others and kind of have faith, whether that be in the advice that we get from medical professionals or from local officials, or just having trust that other members of society are doing their part as well. I think has been really important values for me to hold through this time.
Has has being socially connected to like your friends and family inside this time been easier for you or harder for you than
Yeah,
normal? Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say because it's been so different. I would say it's been more difficult to stay closer
Interesting.
to, especially people I knew in Santa Clara, especially seniors, just because the experience is so radically different from what we were expecting. But in another way, for kind of those more distant connections, whether that be people from high school or people from middle school, even, who now I feel like I have this new time and opportunity to reach out and connect with them, I think has been there. But overall, it's been difficult. Talking over Zoom just isn't the same, especially when you're going on like hour 6 or 7 in a day of it. But it's been nice seeing other people reaching out to me and me reaching out to them, and at least this really strong desire for people to do it, even if we're pretty limited right now.
100%. I can relate to that. And then last question: 50 years from now, what do you want people to remember about these times?
Yeah, I think it's kind of twofold. One, I really hope it's weird being in a moment in history. Like the example I use is this is clearly going to be in a history book, but we don't really know what that paragraph or those bullet points that students are going to write down looks like. And I sincerely hope that it's going to be an example of a very difficult situation where people were able to band together and face this kind of common threat, and it turns into a turning point of people seeing the shared connection, seeing the shared interconnectedness, building that sense, and then using that to tackle all these future problems we're going to have. The most obvious example being climate change, and getting that kind of consensus with a crisis like this now for more crises that are likely to come. And yeah, I just really hope we learn those kinds of lessons, and that we go more towards seeing how we relate to other people in the world, rather than kind of going into this more individualistic, everyone for themselves, it's pandemonium kind of response.